Um, okay, so let's start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session. We hope that you will learn a lot from this session. So we'll start with our introductions. I am Sukriti, currently a second year student in pursuing BTech in Information Technology from IGDTW. I am very enthusiastic to learn new technologies, and currently till now I have explored augmented reality, web development, and cloud, among which augmented reality is my favorite. And I'm also a Microsoft Learn student ambassador. Over to you, Aditi.
Sure. So, firstly, I'm audible to everyone, right?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes,
Okay.
the
Okay. So, I'm Aditi Tiwari. I am pursuing BTech from Information Technology, and currently I'm in my second year. Like Sukriti, I have explored web development, augmented reality, cloud, and I am also a competitive programmer. I got into the program last year, and till now it has been a wonderful ride with us. And we're sharing our experiences and how you can make it into this program in in this class right now. So let's start with the presentation, Sukriti.
Yeah, I'll present. Is it visible?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's loading up. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So let's start the session. So, Women Techmakers Engineering Fellows is a program designed by Talent Sprint and supported by Google. So, let's start with the introduction to this program. So, if you just check out their site, that is wtf.talentsprint.com, you'll see that it's a 2-year experiential program for women engineering students to excel in global tech industry. But actually it's a lot more than that, and it would be an amazing journey if you would get selected in this. And for us it's been such an amazing journey. We've got to learn a lot, which we will tell you in the later on slides. Okay, so this was the introduction, but why this program is designed. So basically in the tech industry there are very less women, approx 26%. So to address this gender imbalance, this program is designed by Talent Sprint. And what would you get out of this program? We'll discuss this later also, but just to brief it about a little. So you'll be getting coding boot camps, online live sessions, mentorship, and a great community. And you'll also be enhancing your problem solving and computational skills. And not and also a Google tag in your first year. So, yeah.
Okay, so elaborating more onto what Sukriti has already mentioned, often when we start when we work towards something, we want to know why we are working towards it, right? So I'll be discussing the benefits, the perks, and the opportunities that you get via this program. So as you can see the Google emblem here, that itself is very refreshing and it's something that you would want to be associated with. And getting it into something that is supported by Google and wherein you will be getting mentorship from from Google leaders across the world, if not only India. You would be getting to have live sessions with them, ask doubts with them, and getting a whole insight into how things actually work in a tech giant like Google. The second picture depicts it depicts the whole environment in which you would be if you get into the program. The whole community experience is going to be great. There will be people helping you and motivating and pushing you to do more than you ever thought of. And apart from this, there will be regular evaluations and technical skills which will help you get better with your DSA and problem solving. And in turn, it will help you whenever you go for interviews or whenever you're working in a corporate job. The project that you will take up would be something that other people at your age would not have dreamt of. And this will definitely help you explore various technologies and get an upper edge in more ways than you can imagine. The last icon, definitely, the whole process will be sponsored by Google, and you'll be getting a scholarship. And so, Kruti, would you like to add on more to this?
Yeah, you'll also be getting to interact with Google engineers, and you'll also be having mentoring sessions by them every month. So that's also a very amazing thing, I feel. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed.
Okay, so next slide. Okay, so the application procedure. So, approx in a week or so, the applications will most probably be released, and you would have to fill the application by uploading your 10th grade mark sheet, 12th grade mark sheet, and there are particular eligibility criteria that you have to follow. So the eligibility criteria for this program is like, we don't know about this year, but last year. We're just telling you from our last year experience. So last year it was that you should be a girl, and you should be from CS or IT or any equivalent branch. So talking about our college, you should be from CSC, IT or CSAI. The eligibility criteria might be changed, but for last year it was this. And you also must have 70% or above in your 10th grade and 12th grade. So once you fill the application, and everyone who is eligible for this gets a link for the test, for the aptitude test, that is the round one, and that is a proctored test, and that contains aptitude and logical reasoning questions. Then when you're selected in it, then you appear for an English version test, and after that, if you're selected in that, then you get a chance to give the coding test, which in which you will get a 1 week break to learn Python or whatever the language is. And after the coding test, you'll have an interview, and finally, if you're selected, then you'll get a mail in 1 or 2 weeks. Aditi, would you like to add on?
That's a very detailed description, and I think this was the procedure overall. There were minor differences here and there between various candidates as for the interview part. Otherwise, the first three stages were pretty same for everyone, I would say. For the interview, it would depend largely on your interviewer how it would go on, and I think we'll elaborate a bit more about it in the coming slides.
Yeah, also like aptitude test, in the aptitude test, many students faced this problem that they were not able to complete the test. So we would discuss the strategies to how to prepare for that test so that you do really well in that test. Okay, moving on to the next.
Cool. So now that we've discussed the whole application procedure, we'll move on to how to prepare for these. So the first and the most important round, I would say, is the aptitude and the logical reasoning round. Most of the shortlisting happens in this procedure itself because generally the applications are correct, and usually people get into this round. So here, your speed would really matter. You need to solve as many questions as possible, give it your best. And for this, I would recommend just practicing basic logical questions like the ones you would get in Olympiads and those kind of questions a week or two before you get the dates. And make sure you work on your speed and accuracy. After this would be the English round. Now note that it's not that you'll be giving both aptitude and English rounds. You first have to clear the aptitude round, and then you will move on to the English round. So for the English round, there would be basic English tests, like they would be asking you jumbled sentences. Like you can take a demo test on Versant and to get familiar with it. They would also be testing your typing skills. And personally, this was the aspect that I was most scared of. More than the coding part, I was scared of the typing test. And I still find it very funny now that I can type better. So after these two rounds, there would be the Python round. This might be the round that some of us might be scared of, but just take it easy. They would be providing you with all the resources. The Python test would have two parts. It would have an MCQ as well as coding questions. So make sure to just learn the language and the principles of the language too, not only just the coding part. And other things we've written down on this slide, you can practice questions, easy, medium, standard questions from HackerRank. Since you're in your first year, they would be asking you basics, not very tough things. They want to test how your thinking process goes. After this is the interview. So basically, for the interview, you need to be confident in yourself. Okay, you need to be what you are and show all the knowledge that you have. It shouldn't be like your coding test went well, but you're not able to explain your codes properly, because I feel that for most of us, the interview was largely an extension of the coding round, wherein they asked us, they grilled us about how we coded, and for some of us, it was slightly different. And Sukriti, would you like to add on to this?
Yeah, sure. So some students were not asked any technical questions, and their interview was only of 15 to 20 minutes. So it depends on your interview to a large extent, and but you should be prepared with tell me about yourself questions and about your college, and whatever how your test took place, whether it was difficult for you, or if you were not able to do any question in that, then you must have just read about that question and try to solve it afterwards, because I was asked the same question that did you like just research on it. So if you say yes, then that makes a really great impact on your interviewer, because it shows that you are really passionate about the program, about this program. And yeah, and we will provide the resources for this, for all the learnings or questions, so you can see that as well.
Yeah, that's very well said. The part about moving beyond your comfort zone and learning even after the interview ends. And like for my case, the process was a little bit different. Firstly, my interview got pre-bonded, so you can expect anything. Just be prepared for it. Although the interviews are really nice and they'll be really friendly, so no need to panic. Uh, Also, you can practice some logical puzzles, because some of the students who got selected, they were asked puzzles, and some weren't. So it really depends on your interviewer.
Yeah, exactly. And just be calm and don't worry a lot, because everybody is very supportive. So you'll be able to do it very easily, like if you prepare well. Okay. So these are our seniors, and they had an offline boot camp. So they went to Hyderabad and stayed there, and had a lot of fun activities. But we had an online boot camp, so we'll tell you about that later.
Oh God, this picture. I so envy them for visiting the Google headquarters in
Same.
Hyderabad and having a great day out there. But it is what it is. COVID really did ruin life for some of us. But But nonetheless, hopefully for your batch, you guys will get to do the same, and hopefully we will too next year, or
Yeah,
probably this year.
and they
And
also got a lot of goodies.
oh, definitely, they got goodies, and they had very fun. They had sessions where they were doing a lot of engaging and fun stuff.
Yeah, apart from coding and your soft skills, there are a lot of things that take place in this program. So it's a very nice program, I must say. These are the
Uh,
124 scholars um, of this cohort 2.
yeah, this was our cohort, and the picture makes me a little bit emotional because like the whole community experience that we gained with this cohort was unparalleled. So let's start with you, Sukriti, first. What was your experience and the highlight of this program?
Yeah, I must say, like, the overall experience was amazing. Like, I can't even explain that how much I grew in this program, like from the day one to till now, and after this as well. It was really an amazing experience. There were a lot of things, the community support, not to mention, it's a great community from all over India. We get to learn from each other experiences. Then there was a Google Immersion Week as well, that that we got to take part in, and Google leaders and Google engineers just took our sessions and helped us to just realize about imposter syndrome and a lot of things. And I really explored a lot of things. Like, I was not so exploring type of person before this program, but I must say that after this, I got to learn a lot of new technologies, and I got really passionate about these technical things. So yeah, that it was a very nice program. Aditi.
That's that's uh, that's the same for me too. Uh, I think when I look back in time, 1 year ago, I was a different person. I think my circle was limited to my friends and their opinions and their knowledge. But the community experience that I gained from this whole cohort and the whole program has helped me meet new people and has helped me gain insights into what all things other people are doing and motivated me into pushing myself and becoming a better version. I could have not imagined doing a project in augmented reality that had a new language all by my own, and of course, Sukriti being my partner in that project. The other highlight was definitely the Google Immersion Week, wherein it was a whole long week. We got chance to interact with Googlers, and we learned various things like the best takeaway from that week was that life is a marathon and not a sprint, and hence you need to just keep working on whatever you like, and in the end things will fall in place. So these are small little things which are beyond coding but which do change your life to a very big extent.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. And there were some mental health sessions as well, which I felt that were really nice, because sometimes when you're depressed or sometimes things are not falling like you wished, they were really helpful for us. And not like we grew emotionally, mentally, and in every way. Technical skills were also there, soft skills. So it was an amazing journey till now.
Definitely. Also, like we had mock interviews wherein we were being given valuable feedback. There were resume writing sessions to enhance the way in which you would write your resumes. You would also be getting one of the best mentors that India offers, and honestly, you will learn how to learn, and that's the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. That quote was said by our mentor, and he's such an amazing person. Everyone in this program is like really amazing and supportive, and they will help you in every way. So, yeah, that's about it, I guess. And now we'll move on to the questions. So, should we start the questions, Aditi?
Yes, the
Uh, yeah, actually, there are a few questions in the doubt section. I think we can take two or three of them and then move on into
Yeah, yeah,
the
sure.
questions that we got from the forms.
So, would knowing Python be sufficient, or do we need to be well versed in any other language?
I
Yeah,
think
this is a very nice point actually, because we were about to talk about this. We are told that language is not a very big thing to do, and basically, you should be well versed with you should focus on your logical skills rather than learning a language, because learning a language is a simple task and it would take you just a week or so to be well versed with it. So, yeah, I think that if you are given any other language also except Python, so you can learn it very easily.
exactly, guys. It is said that learning a language is not hard, and you can literally learn a language, the basics of a language, I would say, in 1 to 2 hours. Actually,
Huh,
it's just the syntax. But apart from that, it's your logic to solve a problem which helps in the end. Now, we have a question here that owing to the fact that we are in our first years, we don't really have a lot of experiences to put in our resume. Sanya, you don't need to. have a resume first in the first place. We were not expected. We were not asked for a resume in our application. It was just a form, a simple form that you had to fill up.
Yeah, and DSA, regarding DSA, you don't need to do a lot of DSA. You would be doing DSA in the program itself. And you should be like the interview questions or the coding questions, I would say that they were of type Fibonacci numbers, prime numbers, and they would give you resources also. So you must be like just doing the resources very well, and you should know the basics of the language.
Uh, Kashika, could you please elaborate more? Because I don't think I get the question. You're saying that it has been a month into college, and I have a doubt whether it will hamper our performance because we need time to study DSA. Hamper your performance in terms of like the college performance, or could you please elaborate? I'm not clear about your question.
And regarding when will the forms be released, as I said, about a week maybe, because in our time, we the forms were released on 31st January and the deadline was 14th February. So around that time, you should keep a check on the forms, and we'll send it also.
Uh, Ishita, what you're saying, the Google headquarters in Singapore, that's the Women Tech Makers program for second years.
Yeah, they both are
So
different. These both are different actually.
these both are two different programs. The one you're talking about is open for both first and second years. This one is open only for first years.
How many people are selected in the scholarship? Like what we were told, there were 15,000, more than 15,000 applicants, and in total 126 are selected. So basically it's not like if you get a seat and if you get the selection mail, you have matlab, you have a seat in this program. You'll have to perform very well in this program. Even after you get selected in this program, you have to do the assignments on time, you have to attend the sessions, and you have to basically follow the code of conduct. Otherwise they might kick you out of the program, like
Uh,
there were some
I
students.
Yeah, that's right. Also, there are a lot of doubts regarding languages and all. So, guys, firstly, I want us to think that language is just a medium to solve a problem, and so you will not probably you will be focused on one language. They want you to test how fast you can learn a language, and hence you won't be given any language for the coding test. You will most probably be given a specific language.
And you'll have to code in that language only.
Yeah. So Kriti, I think now we can move on to the questions that were there in the form.
Yeah, sure. So, okay, so the first question is what all to include in the resume as we're in the first year. So, as Aditi said, that you are not required to make a resume right now, and we were not told to just upload our resume in our application, and resume building was a part of this program. But if you want to build a resume in right now, so you can check out Overleaf templates. They are really nice, and what you can include in it, you can include that which all societies you're a part in, and what have you learned till now, and yeah, that's it. Or maybe your any achievements till now. Okay.
Exactly.
And the
Yeah.
second part to this question is that how to ace Python in a short time. We told you that like you just have to focus on the logic and you will be able to just learn the language really well. Some resources we'll also share, but there are a lot of videos on YouTube, so you can refer them as well.
Yeah. That's very accurate. The next question is how to apply and what all we have to do to secure scholarship. What are the benefits of securing the scholarship from Google? Will it help us to get a tag of Google? Okay, so now basically we covered all of this in the session, but the last part of the question which says will it help us get a tag of Google? I feel that more than the tag of Google, the fact that you're getting to learn so much and the fact that you're being a part of a community which will forever and ever help you even after the program. is more important, and hence you should focus on the learning aspect more than the tangible or the physical benefits of it.
Yeah, very rightly said, because I also feel that learning is like much more important than getting a tag of Google. Obviously, like it supports you for your future, but learning is like it will take you a long way. Okay, so the next question, how to start preparing ourselves from first year for placements, and also how to start our coding journey. Okay, so coding journey, you can join the technical societies in our college and you can learn from them. Also, I would recommend you to do self study first and then join any course like any institute for DSA. Before that, you should just go through some course online, I mean like the free courses, or you should do the self studies because there's plenty of material available. And still, if you're not sure that whether you'll be able to do it or not, then you should go ahead and take a course. And how to start from first year, I would say that like I've heard from some students from first year, they said that they already know some part of coding and they're already like doing coding. So I would say that you should, if you already know coding, then you should focus on your enhancing your resume, because resume is a very important part for selection in any company. Because if your resume is good, then only you'll get the interviews. So I would say that try to get involved in some programs and try to make some projects in your first year if you're doing coding, if you have already done coding. And if you're just starting, then don't worry, you should manage both. Like you can do coding as well as some extracurricular activities. Yeah. Aditi, would you like to add on?
That was pretty accurate. I think we can move on to the next question,
Okay.
which is how can I develop my technical skills and soft skills to pursue my career in tech industries? Okay, so there are two aspects to your technical skills. Okay, one that would, in the current scenario, one that would help you get your job, and the second is the one that would help you survive your job. The first part is learning about the DSA, the basic data structures, and getting a hold over that. So for that, you can practice from, there are various sites actually. You can practice from Interview Grid, Lead Code. You can also dive into competitive programming if you want to enhance your problem solving. Apart from that, for the part which will help you cope up with your job and enjoy it, I would say it's development. You need to explore the various fields like app development, web development, ML, blockchain, anything that you like, and see where your passion is. Uh, for the soft skills part of the question, I would say that being interactive is the best way to improve your communication skills. Speak up more whenever you're attending sessions, and if you're having, like, even in your societies, when you're attending and you're having some doubts in classes, it's better to speak up. That would really help you enhance your problem solving, enhance your soft skills. So, Kriti, would you add on to this?
Yeah, exactly. Because I have also experienced the same. Like, I was an introvert, but then I've realized that it's better to make mistakes in your own circle, like in your own community or in these sessions, rather than making mistakes in interview. So I feel that enhancing your soft skills, you should speak up more, you should interact with people, and if you like, there are also some websites available on the internet. You can search for that and you can practice there as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So next question. Mechanical students are allowed to participate in the scholarship. As we told, we're not sure about it yet, but we don't know the criteria, so you'll get to know the criteria soon.
Yeah, and like guys, this isn't the end of the line. You can, if you're capable enough, you will definitely get many more opportunities. So
Yeah,
you don't have to lose hope if you don't
yeah,
get that.
exactly. You should just keep on working, I feel.
Yeah. Okay. So, what extra things should I do if I don't have any prior coding knowledge? So, instead of the extra things, I think you should focus on the basics first, get them straight and clear. And yeah, after you're done with a certain level of basics and DSA, you can move on into exploring the various development aspects of it.
Yeah. So the next question, from where to start preparing? So as we told in the session that you can see some resources and you can see some YouTube videos for learning Python, and you can practice some basic questions like Fibonacci numbers and all those questions that would be given to you in the resources. So yeah, we'll share some resources after this session as well. So don't worry.
There's a question in the chat. Please give some tips to stand out from the other applicants. Simran, I would say you need to be very crisp and clear. Firstly, there's nothing really to stand out in the first three rounds. That would totally be online based, and there wouldn't be any human judging you. After that, during the interview, the best way to stand out would be to to be really confident and to be crisp and clear about what your thought process is. They might ask you to explain your code, explain your logic, so you need to work on that. And we also mentioned in the session that you need to show that you're an active learner. That would definitely be a uh, positive impact. That would leave a positive impact on the interviewer.
Yeah, exactly. Like you should just be very prepared. Uh, I mean, you should just do your best. That's the thing that you can. Okay, so next question, Aditi.
Uh, I feel that these are sort of repetitive, so
Yeah,
you can go
exactly.
ahead.
Any prerequisites for the scholarship? No prerequisites. You can learn it right now. Python is required for the scholarship, or like we told in the session. So yeah.
The next question is how can this help us for our career? Okay, now this one is I feel important because uh, the scholarship would teach you not just coding and not just how to solve problems, but it will teach you things which probably even your college teachers and other people don't, which is it will teach you how to write clean code, what are the best practices when you're working in a tech giant. It will you will be basically working with tools and technologies that other people in first year would not have heard of. So that's the way it would be giving you an upper hand. For example, most of us would be making PPTs in PowerPoint, but uh, during this program, we were taught of various different ways in which we could make presentations, and basically, it's an all-round development. You know, it's not focused on either coding or only soft skills or only uh, personality building. It's a whole package.
Yeah, very well said, Aditi. And exactly, I felt the same that there were some students in our batch, like, and we felt a little nice because we were doing a lot of extra things from this program, through this program. Like, we were doing version control and we were learning Linux commands and a lot more. So, like Aditi said, it's an overall development. So, yeah. Okay. So next question is that when to apply for the scholarship. The application forms would be released soon, and when they will be released, we will send you a message regarding that.
Okay, I think I think that's about it. There are some questions in the chat. Uh, Someone's saying where should we start? Where should we start if we want to prepare participate in GSOC? Okay, so Ashna, uh, for that, I think firstly you need to be good at some form of development, app, web, ML, anything. After that, GSOC, the procedure for GSOC is that you need to make some contributions into their code, and after those contributions get merged, you're required to fill a certain sort of a form, and that's actually out of this session, but that's pretty much the basics about starting with GSOC. You can watch. videos or contact people who have done GSOC.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a question that will you confirm whether EC students can participate? Actually, we asked our mentor regarding the same, that whether the eligibility criteria has changed or not. So she said that it would be confirmed in a few days. So we don't know it yet, but once we get a message, we'll definitely confirm. Like, we'll definitely tell you.
When is the test happening? Uh, Guys, these are questions that obviously we would not be knowing because that's the decision of the committee. But it would be happening soon, since for us, I think it was in February. It was around in February, and the results were declared around March. So
Yeah, the test was in February mid. Like, I remember that February 14th, on February 14th, applications were closed, and after a few days, like 2, 3 days, we had the first round, and after 2, 3 days later, like we had the second round, that was English, and after a week, we had coding round, and like it is a very continuous process, and you would be having your tests and rounds continuously. What was the level of aptitude test? Actually, the speed matters a lot, like Aditi has written, because the questions were easy. Like, you must have given the Olympiads, so they were that type of questions only. But yeah, you'll have to just do them very quickly.
Harshita, I don't get what you mean by why do we have to register for the test? You will be selected for the test. So after that, I think you will just have to give the test on a platform. You don't have to do registration.
Yeah, that platform was Metal browser, like in our case. So it was proctored. So remember that.
Tanya is asking, where can we practice for the logical and aptitude test? For the numerical and logical reasoning parts, if you have someone preparing for exams like CGL and all of those stuff, or if you have given it Olympiads, so you can give that. Otherwise, there are various websites where you can practice logical questions. So you can
Yeah,
go.
and one of the website that I have seen is a2zinterviews.com. Like, we'll share the resources as I said. And for some puzzles, you can see GFG site, geeksforgeeks.com, and you can search for puzzles there. So there are very interesting puzzles as well.
Uh, Harshita is asking, how do we get selected for the test? We mentioned this, Harshita, in the session. You have to clear the coding, clear the round, aptitude and logical rounds. Simran, would you like to take Simran's doubt?
Yeah, could you please elaborate on the English and typing test? Okay, so in English test we were like given some sentences which we had to pronounce, and we were like given some essays, and we had to just like, I don't remember as much, but I think that it was basically a typing test and a pronunciation test. So it was nice, and it was very easy, I guess. You can practice on Version test platform
See,
to get a better idea.
we all know English, right? It's going to be a cakewalk if you're calm. If you're worrying too much about about how the test would go, then you'll probably mess it up. Otherwise, just take this English and typing test as if you're talking to a person and you're replying back to their answers. And also, Watson test, depending on the score that you get, is also something that you can show on your LinkedIn. So it's a good thing that you're getting to give it.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Any more questions?
for all the people who have this doubt that they've done C++ in 11th and 12th, so that would be enough for coding test. I've already said that the coding test most probably is in Python. So, but since you already have some experience in some other language, so for you it's going to be faster to learn Python. After that, it's just a game of logic and how you approach the questions in the interview.
It will be only in Python.
Yeah, most probably it will be in Python because most of the students do know C++ and Java, and they want to test how fast a learner you are. So it is even possible that they might give you a completely new language.
Yeah,
But but in all cases, I would say that it's going to be Python because Python has some sort of resources available.
yeah, it might be possible that like you get a very new language because we never know. But yeah, you should be able to learn very soon because in like a day or so, because syntax is very easy to learn. The main thing is the logical skills. So yeah. Okay.
Cool. So I don't think there are any more doubts, right?
If
Anything
there
else?
are any more doubts, then you can unmute yourself or you can type in chat. I guess there are no more doubts.
Yeah. So thanks for the session, guys.